この人は吉田さん。俺と同じ世界からやってきた転移者でパティシエだ。吉田さんの料理の腕前が必要なんだ。テンペスト、そこをなんとかお願いいたします。
俺に色仕掛けは通じねえぞ。
は？
どうしてもって言うなら俺を納得させるだけの腕を見せてみやがれ。もしも俺様を満足させる料理を作れるなら考えて。
So just due to the nature of today's episode of Slime, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to have mixed feelings or mixed emotions about today's episode just based on the content that was served up for us. Now, for me, if you guys never have, which I assume that you have, but if you haven't for some reason, you need to go watch the Slime Diaries. And if you haven't watched that, you definitely need to. And if you have, then what I'm about to say makes sense. I feel like this episode really hearkened the Slime Diaries apparanda, or like the motive, or like kind of how that show is structured. And by what I mean by that is this was a very slice of life type episode where it was just Rimuru. It was showing us the back end of Rimuru, how things come together, right? Rimuru went, and because of Shuna, she was like, hey, I want to go to the kingdom of 𝐒𝐻𝐵𝐵. I want to increase, like, you know, her cooking skills, and she wants to set up some certain cooking stuff, you know, some like restaurant eats type stuff for the festival and in Tempest. So the first thing that they do is they go to 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐵, and they speak to a very bald man. And it's like the first time that we find out that there is another reincarnated person in this world who seems to be like a chef, or maybe like a patissier, and he has a restaurant in the kingdom of 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐵. So Rimuru goes and he tries to get him over and bring him into Tempest and stuff, and not knowingly, because Shuna's there, she uses her charms on him, and you know, basically he rolls over for a very pretty girl very easily, which totally makes sense. And she creates some like omelet roll, you know, like egg roll, omelet roll type, you know, type deal, and that are really delicious. And that's the thing that puts him over. So he's gonna come over to Tempest, even though he has a restaurant there. I'm sure he can figure out how to manage it. So that's like the first thing that they do. So again, very slice of life type scenario where in Slime Diaries was very much showing us the back end of what we missed between, I think Slime Diaries was between season 1 and season 2, or maybe between this is 3. So yeah, I think it was between season 1 and 2, where it kind of just filled in the gaps of a lot of things that happened on the back end, like how some things came together, how like the like, you know, kind of how like the main town hall was built, how some of their crops were done. So it kind of showed us like the back end of what we missed during the show in a very, very elegant way, a very fun way. And I love Slime Diaries so much. So those are the vibes I really got from this episode. So it had that, you know, had them go to 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐵, however you say it, and recruit the chef. You know, then they went over into, is it the Blumen Kingdom? I think it is. I don't remember. But they went into the, you know, into the other kingdom. And Shuna already had her mission, you know, with the chef and getting ready for the festival and stuff. So, you know, he went there to go meet with his merchant friend who, you know, he's had dealings with a lot. I love how the merchant dude was like, oh, you know, this dude brought me back to life. He saved my life. I owe everything to him. He's always bringing me cool things. And I like how he knows he's a demon lord, but he doesn't necessarily interact with him like that. And that kind of gives birth to the idea that Rimuru had of the Colosseum. And during the Colosseum kind of pitch and everything, we find out that there's a hero in this world as well. Another hero, I should say. You know, there's many heroes, but there's another hero who is like the, again, in the kingdom of 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐵 or 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐵, who's like the, you know, the top dude in this Colosseum over there, who has like some crazy moves, which will probably come into play later. That I imagine that the champion over here would come and participate in the Tempest Colosseum, as well as some people that, you know, we know, maybe like Xion or Benimaru or some folks, maybe some lower tier folks, in, you know, to make it really exciting. But the birth of the Colosseum idea comes into play along with a fast food restaurant and along with a lot of other amenities and events that people can do when they come over, and, you know, the hot spring and going and hunting monsters, a lot of very curated, you know, things that they can do when you're on vacation. So it gave birth to that. And then he went to go meet with the head of the guild, and he's gonna apparently invite Yuki, and then he wants to invite the King of Bloomend or whatever, and he goes to meet with the guild. So those are pretty much kind of like the three main things that happened this episode. Outside of finding out that Veldor wants to start a food stand, and he's gonna bring fast food into this world, and there's another reincarnated dude in this world who was formerly a patissier. I don't even know how he found out about that. That would have been a little bit cool how to find out about it, but regardless, he knew about him. And just overall, the vibes were really cool this episode. I was really entertained. I was really, I really enjoyed this episode, even though it was slower paced and, not as many things happened this episode. And it was very slice of lifey. Again, I got all those same vibes that I got when watching Slime Diaries all that time ago. So I very much enjoyed this episode, but I know it could be a divisive one because we just went through the loop of being like very high highs with everything that we just came out with Luminous and Hinata and the church and the battles, and then now we're kind of going back down as they're getting the festival and stuff going on. But the thing that we have to remember is, Slime always does us right. I very rarely have any complaints. And the other part, as opposed to some other anime that took 75% of their screen time to actually get good, this has been good from the jump, even with the slower start with I know the first 5 episodes or so were a little rough because there's just a lot of talking, very political stuff going on the first, but I still think it didn't do us wrong in that. But a lot of other animes take 75% of their screen time before they actually get going, and then they get going at the end, which always kind of really sucks. And there's a few I could call out about that. But the good thing is we have 24 episodes this season of Slime, so a lot of runway left for Slime to come back. But even at this slower paced episode, I was still, like I said, I enjoyed it and I was entertained. And those are the 2 pillars that need to fall for me personally when I'm viewing something. So I was very much in trans and in it this episode. So those are my feelings overall. Let me know yours. Again, I imagine it'll be a divisive episode. It may not be, but I'm interested to see on what you guys think in the comments. So I'll see you guys next week for episode number 13 of Slime. All right, my friends. Peace out.